Okay. Hi. Thanks for joining us. We're live. We're going to talk about dolls. We've got two beautiful dolls in me and JT. From JT's Our Discussions, going to talk about this tonight. I'm going to bring him on in 1 second. I just really want to say thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for watching. And this really is a really cool film. It is Stuart Gordon of Reanimator, From Beyond. You know the score when it comes to that guy. He's incredible. But this is a real fun one. This is, I think, the beginning of popularizing killer dolls. And JT is an encyclopedic knowledge of this kind of stuff and just horror in general. We've probably done all our best stuff before the show started because that's just how we work. We talk all about everything to do with the film before you even get on. But here he is, the man himself. JT, how you doing?
What is up, everybody?
Oh
Yeah, we
wow.
probably did get all of that shit out the way. So whoever's
We were
watches
firing.
this, yeah, whoever watches it, you're gonna be disappointed, but you're not gonna know it. We will. We'll know. We'll know that we're sucking compared to
It was
before.
so good. We were firing on all cylinders before. I've actually just upgraded my laptop, so I feel like there's less jitter and things are smoother, and I can actually hear everybody clearer. So it's good to
Awesome.
see you in HD, JT.
Awesome.
We are both. I think people would describe us as doll faces.
Absolutely.
Um,
Why not?
yeah. How's it
Just
going,
not
doll face?
evil doll
Um,
faces.
Not
Because
evil, doll.
dolls
No, we're
are
not evil.
fucking creepy. Like, 'cause I had
They
not
are.
even. I mean, every account in my personal life with dolls has been either through movies where they're evil, or my mom's cousin who collected dolls and had them
I was
all
gonna
over the
say,
house in a
yeah.
creepy ass way, and you never wanted to go there as a kid because you knew the dolls were looking at you and shit. So I'm
Who's
conditioned to know that dolls are evil in every way imaginable. There's no
totally?
exceptions, but that's just me.
No, I totally agree. I was gonna say, who's more scary, the dolls or the doll collectors? Because, like you said, you
That's
beat me to
true.
it though. Like
In this case, it's the doll collector. Trust me, she don't watch. She's in the 70s.
yeah. Now the cover that people will recognize is the like sort of where you can see it's almost like an X-ray of the face
Yeah.
of the doll.
Yep.
That looks like that, which is the Amazon
That's the
cover.
cover I've always known it with. Or
What
like there's
the
another
one?
one that like it pans back a bit and you can see more in the attic, I think. Or am I
Yeah, that's the one that's in the box
okay, that
set.
one I haven't seen as much.
No, I think that might be slightly different because it's a thin
Okay. Okay.
DVD and it's in, like I said, it's in the Arrow
Yeah,
video
maybe it
shop
was
one.
unique for that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we're probably not going to mention, so I'll say it now, is that Guy Rolfe, who's in this,
Yeah.
I watched him in a film that he did many years before this, called Mr. Sardonicus. I don't know if you've seen or
No.
heard of it. Now that is about like similar to Peter Cushing's Corruption and a few others, where it's along the lines of what lengths will you do to keep your loved one looking young? A kind of what's the guy with the mirror up in the loft?
Oh,
I can't.
I know what you
Uh,
mean.
Portrait of Dorian Gray, is it? Something like
Yeah,
that. Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray.
Yeah. So there was a William Castle film called Mr. Sardonicus, and
I like the name. Gotta give it
yeah,
that.
it is cool. And Guy Rolfe is really really good in it. It's
He
from
also
nineteen
plays
sixty one.
he also plays Andre Toulon in one of the Puppet Masters.
That's right. Is it the first one, or do they bring him in when?
I think
I always forget
I know. I think we've had this
which way
conversation
round.
too, like either
Yeah.
on the full moon ranking with Dan and Larry, or another time. But
Oh,
well,
they would both
I think
know. I don't.
William Hickey it was the original and Andre
Right.
Toulon in the first
Yeah,
Puppet.
because
But
this.
he was in like the third one or fourth one, the old guy in this one.
Yeah, so I just looked it up. He's in 3, 4, 5, and Retro Puppet Master.
Okay, yeah. So he was in a few.
Yeah. Hey,
Because when I
Nanette's
went,
here. Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
hey,
Hi,
man.
Nanette.
When I went through that series, when I never saw past three until I did go through it all, and I mean that makes total sense. But I saw him. I said, I know this old dude," and then it
Yeah.
finally hit me that he was from Dolls. because this
Oh
is such
man.
an underrated Stuart Gordon movie, and I say it all the time. Like it's such a
Yeah, I
creamy,
mean,
underrated Gordon movie. I think it's because
yeah,
it's not like it's not like Lovecraft based like a lot of his
true.
stuff is,
Yeah.
and hence it's not that out there like Reanimator and From Beyond and even Castle Freak and Dagon and like all his
Yep.
The Pit and the Pendulum, all of his like ones that are Lovecraftian in some way and have like out there
Different
moments.
writer as well. So like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
it's not Dennis Paoli, so I
No,
mean it
so
makes sense.
I looked up because I recognize the name Ed Naha or Nahar or Naha. He
Naha, probably.
he um he was more famous for doing the novelizations to films, which when I was a kid
Okay.
was quite a big thing. Like I
Yeah,
got
I
the
used to
Gremlin.
have the
Oh, cool.
Halloween one back in the day.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were a little bit whether you missed that window where that
It
was the
was
only
right
way
near
you
the
could.
end of it
Right. Because I had like, even though obviously Jaws came from a book, but they did a novelization of
of
the
the
film,
movie,
which was weird.
which
um,
they ended up doing that a lot too as the
yeah,
years
which is
went
odd.
on.
Why just re-release the book? But Gremlins and I think Fletch came from a book, but they did a novelization of the film. But this guy Neha, he did the novelization of, oh, what was it now?
Starting.
Oh, he did Ghostbusters 2 novelization, RoboCop 2 as well, which I have
Oh,
actually read. I got that from the library. Why RoboCop 2 book.
and
And
that's asking is Dolls a full moon movie. It's not full moon, Nan, but it's Charles Band and Empire. It's
yeah,
Empire. It's
it's
Empire, right?
I think it's Empire. I may have had it on my Empire list. It's
Yeah,
weird
it's
because
Empire. It's not just
all of
It's
the
not just
ones
Charles
in
Band himself. It's 87, but yeah, it's pre
no
full moon by 2 years.
did I think what happened was, and I think I remember this from reading Charles Band's thing. The reason when Empire dissolved, or didn't really dissolve but disappeared, was that MGM bought Empire. So that's why when you get these box sets of all Empire films, they don't
Yeah,
say Empire on them; they all say MGM.
and yeah, and their own. Yeah,
So
they
which
all.
makes it harder for you to remember what is a Empire film and what's an
Yeah,
MGM
just
film, because
Charlie, and what's just Charlie
yeah,
on his own and all that.
and
Yeah.
that's why Full Moon was almost like an FU to MGM, which was like, I'm going to build this company and I'm going to own everything, and there's
Well,
nothing you can take off me.
yeah, I mean, great decision. I always say how good of a businessman Charles Band is, but like they actually Empire sold the rights to Ghoulies to save the company.
Right.
That's why
Yeah.
3 and 4 are not under Empire. They sold the rights to Ghoulies 1 and 2 and everything they had with that IP to save Empire from sinking completely. I mean, it
Right.
ultimately like didn't. Anybody went on to Full
Yeah.
Moon and make that, but like it bought them some time.
I think what had happened was, I think he got ripped off by someone. Someone had just disappeared off to maybe back to Italy or somewhere else with all the money from Empire, and it
If
just
I ever
left him
hear
in
back
in the
from
lurch.
him, then I can ask him and we can find out.
Yeah, it's because I'm just remembering snippets from the book, and like
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of audiobooks at the moment, I'm noticing are doing this, and his doesn't work so badly because what happens is the guy who does, because he does maybe 6 out of the 12 chapters, something like that, and then
Okay.
there's another guy who reads the other ones. The other guy sounds just like him, so you can't tell.
Okay.
Whereas the Tarantino book, um, is you really getting into it by about chapter 2, chapter 3, and
And
then
then
somebody who sounds completely
completely
different
different.
takes over, and I'm just like, okay, I'm out. I might as well just read it myself. So
Yeah, if
that's
you want to have a consistent voice narrating a story, it's very
yeah,
strange to have, like you said, like be listening to something. It would be like Arrested Development came right to mind as like a TV equivalent because Ron Howard narrating that all the time. But it would be
yeah,
like
yeah.
him narrating the first season, then in the second season you had like I don't know Burt Reynolds doing the
Yeah.
narration. Like it was just like very jarring. Like, what the fuck is this? I was invested in this story. Now I don't know who to trust.
And I've just joined a really good Arrested Development memes group. I'll have to send you a link to it.
Yeah, send me
Um,
that.
Made me laugh.
That
I
show.
love it. Love it. Should we kick off this film then?
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna put the little intro. So guys, when you see play, press play.
Nice.
He says, without being able to find it. There it is. Let's go. Boom. Start rental. I've had to rent it.
MGM Lion.
I'm not buying it again on just it's just that I can't get to my DVD player, so
yeah, it's Empire. It just came up on the screen.
Okay. I've got the and then Empire Pictures presents it. They didn't take it off.
I got it on Tubi, so I forgot that there's going to be ads, but whatever.
I don't know if I've got subtitles on this though. That might be an issue.
I always have. Are you one of those also that needs subtitles on for some reason? Because I do.
Yeah, for sure.
I always need subs on.
But it's just saying there's the only option for subtitles on it is off, so that doesn't really help me.
That's the only option.
Yeah, I was like, it's either off or off. So I'll go for off. A bit of both, Nanette. I struggle with focus. So if I read something, I have to read it almost in one go.
I'm similar.
So audiobooks is sometimes the way to go if I'm driving and I have no choice. Some people just read them better than I perform them really well. So like Alan Partridge, like Steve Coogan ones I love because he performs it. So comedians tend to do a better job, I think, with audiobooks, don't they? But yeah, that's what.
Hey, Bradazzle.
Hey, how you doing? It's good to see. So we got Carrie. So I like the name of there's a very British name of one of the actors, and this is Bunty. Like I've never known an American called Bunty.
Now I saw the last name Gordon in here. Oh. I forget who it is that's related to Stuart Gordon.
Caroline Purdy Gordon.
Yeah, then there's the effects by John Carl Buechler, which I always forget he did the effects for this movie.
Thank you for reminding me how to say his name, because I forget every time.
I could still be fucking wrong on that. I mean, Tom McLaughlin called it Buechler, but then I've heard it in a lot of documentaries, like maybe like Camp Crystal Lake Memories, like the
I only go off
5-hour Friday one, and I'm pretty sure that's where I heard it initially, like pronounced as Buechler.
There's another Ted Nicolau interview that I haven't scheduled yet, where he talks about him in detail, and it's not that they didn't get on, but they had a very different understanding of what they wanted from the creature effects in Terrorvision, and later on in switching channel, not switching channels. That's Christopher Reeve, Bad Channels, and I was quite surprised actually that he didn't talk about him as glowingly as I was going to, if that makes sense. I was like, oh, okay, you guys had a bit of a thing, but then the thing. Sometimes real people aren't there.
Artists, sometimes artists just don't see eye to eye, and they have different visions. Hey, Liv. Hey, Bud Files.
Get well soon. Get well soon.
Yeah, definitely. Feel better, Liv. I'm sorry to hear that.
Hey, Bud. Yeah.
Also, people send out healing vibes to Ginger too, because he's been struck with the
he was under.
Is it
right? Oh,
yeah, he got the fucking COVID shit. I avoided it for like 4 years, and then I finally got it last year or something. Like a year and a half.
I've always been surprised that I've never had it, and there's a few times when I've tested and I thought it's got to be this time, and I haven't. So I'm like,
that's how I was for like 4 years. And every time you're like, I know I got this shit. Like, I know I got this. Then you're like, wow, like, is this test right? Like, we should get like 3 more just to check. But like, avoided it, like mad times. Now the family here in the movie, I think the kid actress, I think she's like one of the best kid acting roles in a horror film in the 80s. She does such a great job in this movie.
That's a good point, because the mum or the mother-in-law, or not mother-in-law, the stepmom, yeah, she's OTT, like quite camp and quite over the
Yeah,
top.
I
The
don't know.
the little girl's more grounded.
Yeah, oh, yeah, she's the most grounded one in this movie.
She's
With
like, do you know
Ralph.
what it reminds me of? It reminds me a bit of Matilda.
It
Like,
does.
I
And
just
she
thought of
looks
that
a
now.
little bit like her too, like
Yeah.
a younger version. But who did they like purposely go for the spoiled only in this for the money bitch who was struck with cancer look for the wife? Because
She,
that's
you know,
how she
she
looks throughout this
the
movie. Did she have
headscarf.
yeah, did she have cancer or something that they cut out or something? Because
I don't
that's the only thing I think of when I see like someone who looks like that
think it
or is
is, and
conditioned that
this is going to be a bit of a reach, but I think it's a play on the Grey Gardens, kind of very very rich, eccentric people in you know
Yeah, I can see
in up
that.
that kind of thing with because
Because
didn't
you don't see this bitch's hair through the whole movie until she died.
no. That's interesting. Could be. It could. Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange one. You can tell as well, like um, that it has a different aesthetic to all of Stuart Gordon's other things.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not as enclosed until obviously till they get to the actual house. It's got a bit of a, like I said to you before we went on air, a bit of a British feel to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and it reminds me a little bit of Asylum. I mentioned that before, but you were saying other ones that I hadn't heard of that were kind of predating this in terms of more organic doll based stuff. What were the
Oh
ones? Because I've
yeah,
totally forgot.
yeah, we were talking about Killer Dolls and saying that this is one of like the earliest movies I can think of with killer dolls like this, especially like where you see them killing people and like you're getting brutal kills because we didn't get Child's Play till '89. We didn't get Dolly Dearest till a few years after that, I think. I'm pretty sure that movie came out in the early '90s.
See, I don't know that one. That's a new one to me.
It's not that great. That's probably why you don't know it. Like if for like killer doll enthusiasts, I'm not really, but I enjoy the subgenre. It's well known or more well known, I guess, today. But that wasn't until like 1991, and then Puppet Master we didn't get until '89, 2 years after this from Charlie. So this is '87. The only ones I can think of before this are like the Zuni doll section of Trilogy of Terror, and it's only the like the little starving Ethiopian dolls, that thing, and it's chasing around Karen
Yeah,
Black.
there's a few like voodoo doll based things
Yeah,
back
exactly.
when zombies were kind of different to what zombies are like now. So zombies were
Yeah,
more like
like pre
black
Night of the
magic.
Living Dead. Yeah, when it was
Yeah,
all voodoo or test gone wrong and shit like that. For
and
sure.
like I say, I would say Asylum with the little toy soldiers that he gets to attack is very similar feel to this. And I think that's maybe late 70s. It must be because I think Amicus went out of business before we got to the 80s.
I don't know why I
Uh,
keep texting stuff and then like knowing we're gonna say it, but hey Russell, hey Larry, how's everybody doing?
all right, hey, Russell, Annette saying hi. Larry, the man is here. The man
Your
himself
father
is
looks like
here.
Michael Keaton for some reason right here, like vaguely, like very, very vaguely, but he does. And I looked up, I was like, Michael Keaton? No, not at all, but it
Do you
looked
see
like him.
that clip round the head? Then, it's just like on the back of her head. I know what you mean. He's got the Michael Keaton hairline.
Yeah, for sure. I looked up and like the way
I
he
was
was
looking at.
squinting and stuff, I was like, wait a minute, what happened to Louis?
I had a bit of a poster splurge the other week, and I was very close to for £3. I was very close to getting Mr. Mom poster
Yeah.
and Gung Ho poster, and then I was like, I'm not. What am I going to do with them? And then I thought, well, what if I buy one of those drawers that you know, like an artist drawer where you can put posters in them full
Yeah.
size. I was like,
Yeah.
what if I get one of those? And then I was like, where am I going to put that?
So I don't know if I got the room there.
Yeah, so I don't know. If I can't put it on the wall, this is all
Yeah.
changing. I'm going to put some posters up. But yeah.
Yeah,
Demonic
Russell,
Toys, yeah.
Demonic Toys also. That was like 91, 92. I want to say 92. So like and
No, I
another
wasn't sticking two
but
fingers
like
apart. Yeah, I was.
there's there's a Twilight Zone episode called The Doll. But I don't think she kills any. I don't think the doll kills anybody.
No, I'm not a massive. The couple of Twilight Zone episodes I've seen, I liked. I particularly like the William Shatner one in the plane. I'm trying to think which one is.
Whatever it is from 100,000 feet.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that.
He's great in that.
With the gremlin on the wing.
Yeah, he looks out. Like,
yeah. That's a Trilogy of Terror episode from The Simpsons. A Treehouse of Horror episode.
Yeah.
Now I got Trilogy of Terror on my mind.
Doll Man, yeah. Is that Brick Bardo, or is that I always get Doll Man and Trances mixed up because they're both Tim Thomerson. And I can't say Tim Thomerson without saying Tom Timerson. I think he should be called Tom Timerson. And
I like to refer to that as like verbal dyslexia, and that's what I have a lot of.
The problem is
your thoughts are trying to come out, but they just come out. The words are switched, but you get the gist. It's like that thing, that meme where they show you the words, but the letters are reorganized. But as long as you see the first and last letter, you still get it. That's like
I know the weird thing about that
out for me.
Yeah, is that I'll do it deliberately.
And
then I can't stop. I do it by accident too, but then I can't go back. And the problem with that then is, like, say for instance, my friend does it, and he did his dissertation on Dracula, but because he would always say Dracula as a joke, he did his presentation in front of his a university, and he did his presentation, and he couldn't stop saying Dracula.
That's too funny.
Which is literally
that would get annoying too, hearing it sound like that.
Yeah, that was his. But that's his thing. He enjoys irritating people by doing. Driving
I can respect that. I can respect that.
So let's see. Full Moon movies. Yep. I mean, they've got both good and bad in the Full Moon canon, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, very, very bad at some point.
Keith David and David Keith.
Larry, that's great.
Yeah. Craig David Craig.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, they did this on purpose. Made this woman look like a cancer patient, possibly to make her maybe sympathetic a little bit, even though she treats
it's never explained
like shit. She treats her stepdaughter like absolute shit in this movie. So I think it was a subliminal message to let her look like she has cancer, and never show her hair at any point until she dies, and then has it exposed that she never had cancer. This woman's just
the big sunglasses on her head is a look as well, isn't it?
She loves those glasses.
The Guy Rolfe's hair is awesome. It's like Doc Brown.
Yes.
I'm working on that myself. All I need is just to go fully grey, and then I have the same thing.
I got like the grey on the side going for like 10 years now.
Bit of salt and pepper. Yeah,
exactly.
That's why I shave it at the sides, because that's where all my grey is.
The funny thing would be if my preference, because I love salt. I don't like pepper. I don't put pepper on much things. So if I would just be just jet white if I had to pick between one or the other.
Who's got the best jet white hair? Well, Steve Martin's had it like that for so long that he'd look really strange if you ever saw him with dark hair.
Yeah, if he just dyed his hair like one day out of nowhere, and people that got like some paparazzi shots of him, you're like, that's not him.
Jet black.
No way, that's him.
Well, that's the thing, man. I've got friends who dye their beards, and the problem is it looks like they've painted on a beard. Like it just looks like jet black.
Yeah, there's some people who have that look. Steven Seagal looked like that for a while.
Yeah, that's right. I bet he leaves a beard print on his pillow in the morning. He wakes up and he's gone.
Yeah, exactly. He just leaves a triangle of like the goatee.
Yeah. This kid, like you said, this kid is awesome. She is really cool. She's
so believable.
She leads the film.
Movie. Yeah,
and look at how Gordon. That's the perspective of everybody looking down at. It's like, I'm big, you're small. It's like I say, the Matilda kind of feel.
Yeah, and how just right there. How the old couple go down to her level when they're talking to her, and they do that multiple times in this movie. Even when he
Yeah.
gives Mr. Punch to her,
Yeah.
he goes and bends down to her level and stuff, which the other adults, her parents, the stepmom and stuff, they don't do.
Well, that's what we go
I'm
back.
pretty sure Ralph does it too. You know, that's probably a little theme he threw in there, and something that he purposely paid attention to.
Yeah. Well, we were talking before about puppets and stuff, and I mentioned about Punch and Judy shows and things like that. And like, obviously, they're so violent. I know that they mention those and show those a bit in Puppet Master, in the first Puppet Master, and maybe
Yeah.
Metro Puppet Master. But when I was a kid, you'd see them everywhere. Like even into the mid '80s, you'd have Punch and Judy shows. They're so incredibly violent and weird. I'm surprised someone hasn't done a Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, but with Punch and Judy, because it's right there. It's folk horror.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Well, now that's out there from your mind, maybe somebody will hear it and they'll get
Let's
that
see
shit
what
done.
that's me and that guy who's doing the full Pooniverse or whatever it is. Me and him will get together. Because he's doing loads, isn't he? He's doing all the different.
He's doing the Peter Pan's New Nightmare. He's doing or Neverland Nightmare or something like that.
It's not bad.
And Bambi the Reckoning.
I don't mind. I don't mind. See, I know this. The people. The consensus is that the second Winnie the Pooh is better than the first one. My argument is, I think the first one is better than the second, but I think the kid playing Christopher Robin is better in the second. I think that's the only difference.
That's true.
It's like, I think he's really wooden in the first film.
No, he is. He is.
And that's what brings it down, because he's like, oh no, Pooh, don't, Pooh, no. And then, like, in the second one, that he's got a bit more of a acting to do. So they were like, oh, we're going to have to get somebody who can act. So here's Mr. Punch now. Speak of the devil.
I love Mr. Punch. What a great
That's the way to do it.
Hey, Dan.
Mr. Dan. We were just speaking of you. I'm telling you right now, you want to dye your hair to get women's hair dye, they just put women on. Oh, okay. Interesting. I won't turn into a woman. I mean, if I do, it's cool. I'll just spend my day looking in a mirror all day, but yeah.
There you go. You got the doll face already.
I know, I'm beautiful. I'll have the best beard in the beauty salon. I was saying hi, Mr. Dan.
I had Teddy. She had her Teddy, and she lost him in the forest.
Oh,
yeah. The stepmom fucking kicks her under the table.
Oh, well, kids losing teddy bears is such a massive trope, isn't it? If even though I was watching that one, was it No Way Up? I think I was talking about it in the group chat before. It's actually pretty good, but the whole thing in that at the beginning is about this little girl losing a teddy bear.
No, that shit could be traumatic. Yeah, a kid losing a teddy bear.
I'd still feel pretty traumatized if I lost my teddy bear.
Yeah, I had a teddy bear.
So this dude here,
his name was Soft Bear.
Soft Bear.
Yeah, Soft Bear was my teddy bear's name as a kid.
SAWFT.
We're getting deep into my past here.
Yeah. When did you first?
Soft Bear.
I'd like to think that he was spelled SAWFT. It'd be like Soft Bear.
he was very soft though. Like, so the name was very
it was accurate. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I had a teddy bear. He was called Ted. It was like, obviously I was very creative as a child.
Do you feel like they stole your life rights with the movies?
Yeah, we were Thunder buddies as well, which was weird.
See, so that's what I mean. They stole your thunder and your
son of a bitch. Yeah. Oh man. Seth, I was going to say Seth
MacFarlane. He's got enough money. He'll settle for whatever.
I'm so angry. I'm going to sue anybody called Seth. I'm going to sue Seth Rogen, Seth MacFarlane, Seth Rollins, Seth.
Yeah, I'm going after all the Seths.
That's it. I can't think of any other Seths.
You may be fake Seth from a movie, super bad Seth, but you're getting sued too.
Oh yeah. Hey. Oh, hey, Mr. Dan, how you doing? Hey, Shamalos, you watching Scream 2?
Hey,
love it. I was just comparing Scream 2. You know where Scream 2, where he pulls Randy into the van? It's almost identical to Slumber Party Massacre.
Yes.
I was
It
just thinking
is
about
a
that. I don't
much,
know.
much, much superior film.
I love Slumber Massacre. Yeah,
Me
the
too.
first one and
The
two.
second
But
one is the best though.
yeah, I agree.
Second one
It's the
is my
silliest
favorite.
and the most fun. Yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun. That's like a
Yeah.
fucking musical, a slasher musical.
Hey, look,
With
it's Cyndi Lauper and
I
Madonna.
they're so funny in this.
They're British, got like British accents, but I think Bunty is British, and I think the other one's American.
And the guy who plays Ralph is great in this. I always forget his name. You might know
Oh
it.
yeah, he's kind of no. I would have to click off the thing, but like there's
Yeah, he's good in this.
he's kind of childlike, but also
Yeah,
there's a
and
bit of an
he
edge
does
to
it
him.
very well. It reminds me of Stranger Things. What's the guy from Lord of the Rings? And then he was in
Oh,
Stranger
Sean
Things.
Astin. Yeah, Sean Astin.
Yeah, reminds me of him a bit, like with that
Yeah,
just
no, I get
childlike
that.
look a little
Chubby
bit.
cheeks. Yeah, chubby
Yeah,
cheeks.
yeah, it has a little vague likeness to him,
I
I would
like
say.
Sean Astin. Yeah, I like Sean
Yeah, no,
Astin.
I do too.
He's a nice
But he's
guy.
like
So
very childish in
we're
this
very
movie, and
close. No,
that's why he doesn't get. That's why he gets away in the end, because he's just still a child at heart.
So the names of the characters. This is all I can go off is the back of my box. So the home of Gabriel and Hilary Hartwick, an old toy maker and his
Hawkwick.
wife, played by Guy Rolfe, Mr. Sardonicus, and Hilary Mason. Don't look now. But all is not as it seems, and the puppets and the dolls that fill the house have a vicious life of their own. Gordon's dark sense of humour is on full display in this gleefully gory ode to James Whale. Oh, okay. And the Brothers Grimm. You're never too old to play with toys. Hey, there's a joke there
Sure.
somewhere, but never mind. Um, uh, take your mind out of the gutter. And
Exactly.
we've got Ian
Terrible.
Patrick
Naughty
Williams,
watchers.
Caroline. I listen. People will criticize me and my innuendo. I'll always have my knockers, but I'll tell you what, I will. No, I'm sorry, that's a bad one.
No, you gotta just spit that shit out. That's the success of how I don't know. I haven't been canceled yet. Just say whatever comes to mind. There's no lines. Don't worry. People will forgive you.
Ian Patrick Williams, maybe that's him.
Maybe.
Or is that the dad? Is that the dad?
Oh yeah, that might be the dad.
Caroline Purdy Gordon, that's the little girl, isn't it? Cassie Stewart, Bunty Bailey, and then that's it. Nobody else makes it into the
into there.
and
They
Richard
don't care
Band
to
music
tell you about the rest
supervised.
of them. Russell says definitely sue Seth Rollins.
Oh wow! Do you know what? For his referee uniform at SummerSlam, I'll see.
There you go. Now I like how he throws in a few like supernatural elements that we see.
How do I point at
before
JT?
the dolls go crazy and like actually start doing stuff? That we see one of the dolls' faces very early on smile, and then we see just there, like when the thunder goes off, you see the doll parts in the bucket, and they like rearrange themselves.
Oh yeah,
He throws like a few little nice little supernatural elements in like early on in this movie.
when you're working with little kids
What's you
in
say? They'll
schools.
forgive you if you're charming.
No, I was trying to point at you and I couldn't do it, so it just looked like I was pointing at myself. But,
That's fucking funny.
But like when I was used to work with really young kids, and they have like a big bucket of dolls to play with, there'd always be arms and legs missing, and I'd always think this is quite grotesque, like a tub full of arms and legs.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
And kids just swing these toys around and rip the claws, and they don't, Obviously, the ones like these that are collected tend to be some old lady putting them in a cabinet and never touching them.
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird, really, to have something like a. I bet having said that, I was just thinking that I literally have action figures that I keep in a cupboard. So it's like, isn't it weird having something that
figures below my TV? I got the
yeah, it's like
below my TV for some reason,
Yeah.
because I hate that series for the most part.
So just because they're toys, and I'm like going, oh, it's ridiculous that she's got these old toys, and I'm like, actually, I also have old toys, that are unopened, and there's no intention. Do you know what though? If I ever have kids, I'm tempted to just say that everything that's in packages will have one day where we just rip all of the toys open and just play with them.
And just
I don't know.
hell yeah.
That'll be
I
cool.
can't. I was never able to keep things in packages.
I wasn't as a kid. No way. No.
Yeah.
I'll do it for the content though.
No,
I'll
even
film it.
now,
I'll be like,
fucking,
I
if bought the
opened.
cool action figure, that shit's getting opened, like, and to put on display for some reason. It's just how.
Can you imagine? When you get older, you buy it all back, don't you? As well. Can you imagine, like, if I did a video and it's like me and my kid opened 300 pristine toys. I was shocked.
We gotta set a Guinness World Record. What's up, Survivor?
Hey, nice. Good to see you, my friend. Zombies, Wally World. Come and say, oh man. Well, happy trails and all that, and I hope you're safe. Yeah, there is a lot of nightmare fuel in this film, to be honest. You're right.
Yeah,
totally.
And that's why another reason why she just plays it so well. This main girl just kills it. It's just like she just comes across as so genuine, and the things that she says, and like afraid, and just like how she works with. I like her whole dynamic with Rolfe. It's great.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. 59 Survivors. I mean, they're all good, but in the documentary that I did, he did about the. I always get this wrong. I was Island of Lost Souls or the Island of Dr. Moreau, the original black and white one. He did a really good recommendation there. I was impressed with that. I mean, all of the people who contributed were great, but I just thought that was a really cool little clip that he did.
Yeah, I like the Island of Dr. Moreau. Well, the original much more so, but even the remake is bad as it was on some level.
Did that come from? Is there another one before that? Even before the Dr. Moreau one? Is it Island of Lost Souls or something?
Maybe, yeah, maybe based on something else on that. I just know the original film and the remake.
And here's Mr. Punch again making. Do you know she's dressed a bit like a character from another horror film, but I can't think what it is, with the red top and the little dungarees. The little girl looks like she's out of another horror film, but I can't for the life of me think what it is. Or maybe a little bit like Drew Barrymore in E.T. Maybe I'm thinking of that.
I guess
just not blonde.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Because that I could see for sure. I can't think.
Just so weird. It's so weird to think that, like, in that film, she's only like maybe about 3 or 4 years from like moving her way through every banned substance known to man.
I know, right? I mean,
Hollywood.
I was just gonna say the same shit. Hollywood. You expect. It's a cliche for a reason. Child actors.
Do you ever think there was that one kid in school who got all the best stuff, and then they would get a toy and they would keep it in the box, and you'd think, who is this kid? Like, who is this person who can manage to not play with their toy and keep it? Like, I had a friend who had the Turtles in box, and I was like, my mum and dad wouldn't even buy me the Turtles because they were too expensive, and I was like, and you're not even playing with them, you fool.
I had a pet turtle once.
What was he called?
I have fucking no idea.
Mr. Soft. Mr.
Soft
too.
My sister also had one, and we had them in the backyard in a fish tank, and hers ran away. Like, the turtle ran away, and and we ended up like we were going somewhere with like my great aunt who was still driving at like 85 years old, and my sister had to be like 3-4 years old, and we're going off our block, and then we see a turtle crossing the road, but it was too late, and my aunt drove over it. You hear the crunch, and my sister fucking lost it.
Oh my, that is trauma.
Yeah, I think she still is very broken today.
That's a movie. That is a movie right there. Like,
it's too funny. You can't write
in real time. That turtle escaping in real time. How fast could it possibly been going?
We were all like in awe, because it felt like eternity, like knowing that this turtle was getting crushed by the car. And it just felt like a slow-mo and stuff, and we knew the reaction that was going to come from my sister or stuff, and then she just started bawling. It was the most hysterical shit I've ever seen.
Well, send her my
As
condolences. I
dramatic
know
as
it's a
it
bit.
is for her, it's
Yeah,
fucking hilarious to me.
I know it's a bit late, but send her my condolences and best
I
wishes.
will. I
Yeah,
will.
that's
And
probably a
then
few
and
years.
then she probably forgot it for all I know, and then you're gonna be responsible for bringing
Oh,
up traumatic
don't do it
events,
then. Don't
and
tell her.
then she's gonna be back. She's gonna be in therapy or some shit.
It'll be my fault. Don't do it then. Don't tell her.
I'll give her an anonymous tip.
Yeah, just
I won't
say
say
like,
who it was.
I just watched the new Turtles film, and man, was it crunchy.
Yeah. Try to give her a little subtle hint.
Yeah.
Island of there's Dan with the Island Dr. Moreau stuff.
This is what we need: people with facts and numbers and intelligence.
And numbers.
This is what we need. Fact checking. In 2024, in 20, what
It is
2024? Why can I not say?
2024.
Yeah, it just I didn't never said
It
it
just
like that. But
sounds weird, yeah.
yeah, in 2024, we need more fact checking.
But yet we all say 2002 and 2005. I
Yeah,
mean, what else are you going to say?
2024.
2005. Like, you're not going to say that dumb shit. So, of course, we're going to say 2000.
I mean, this is so
Even
shows you how
saying years gets more convenient as the years go on. You have to less shit to even say.
Well,
How
as we move
lazy we are.
towards idiocracy, we'll just be making like grunts and noises anyway. So
Yeah, exactly.
but what year is it? It's like
Yeah. Oh, okay,
like,
good. And we'll know exactly what that means for some reason.
How influential were like Madonna and Cyndi Lauper at this time? Because like they would costume departments just were like, so we've got this young woman. Okay, right, I've got an idea. I know exactly how I'm going to dress them. And
it's very like I don't know. You're right. It's very convenient that like of all the personalities they could have given these two random chicks who come to this house for this movie, it happens to be like straight up rip-offs of huge pop stars of the 80s.
Yeah, there's loads of ones like that, particularly ones that are set in Europe. I think maybe they think like if somebody's watching a film at a glance or look at a picture, they'll go, "Oh, look, that's like they look like a famous American pop star."
Yeah. I can see that too. It makes sense.
Oh, some of the kills in this are awesome. Like this is this is amazing. Just bashing someone's
what's
head.
What's the timestamp you're on?
31:33 I've got.
31, 33. Okay, cool. All right, we are good.
We got some face squishing going on. She's not dead,
actually. Yeah, no, the kills are good in this movie.
She's not dead. She's just got a hell of a headache.
No, yeah, she'll be dead soon enough. She doesn't know it though, unless she's seen
like
this movie.
They are genuinely dangerous and malicious and. Well, no, they're not malicious. I think I don't know if they're malicious. I think they're cold, aren't they? They're like the way they kill is cold-hearted, so that makes it like even more scary.
And because they are supposed to be kind-hearted to to kids and to people who are kids at heart and who care for the toy. Like I think the old guy even says it. So something to the effect of you care for the toys, they care for you, and stuff like that. It's actually very early feelings of Puppet Master with how the puppets behave, depending on who their master is. Like sometimes they're evil if their master's evil, like in the first two, and then in others they're fighting on the good team because like their master's a good person. Kind of the same here. Like they won't hurt you and stuff, and Mr. Punch helps her throughout this.
Well, what do you prefer? I think I prefer them being on the side. I think it makes more sense for them to be on the side of evil. I think.
Oh yeah, and that's why the kills are great in this because they reflect that, and they're very brutal. Like there's some kills in here that even just the effects, like when her hand is getting sawn off, that's more brutal than anything a Child's Play 2 years later, or Puppet Master.
Oh, look at this! He's gonna just slap the shit out of this kid. Like, what's going on, man? And he's supposed to be the parent that actually likes her.
No, exactly.
We do have Tubi now, but it's very limited. I use the American one because the British one is like it's okay. Yeah, it's rights issues, I think, so we don't get a lot of the good stuff. There's no like Giallo section, put it that way. There's just like
that's unfortunate.
Like a bloody movie. Like it's a good movie, mate. Yeah, Governor, check out this movie.
I feel like there's a new category on Tubi in America like every day. Like I
Yeah.
feel like they always every day or week. I feel like there's a new category specific to
Yeah.
something, and it's
I
great.
went on. There was like a Nigerian movie section,
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, like
was
that's
there?
good. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, they really narrow it down for you.
Yeah. I mean,
They
the
got
UK one is just like they've just got like movies that are action movies and movies that are horror, but then when you scroll through, they're the same movies.
you. Yeah, I know. They have that same thing like with thrillers and stuff, and a lot of them are the same as horror movies in the list above that, and then some will have comedies thrown in that are absolutely not thrillers, but they're in there anyway for some reason.
In American Tubi, isn't there like a coming soon section now as well? There didn't used to be, but I'm pretty sure there's like ones.
Oh,
Like,
if there is, I've never seen it, and that's odd because
maybe, or maybe I'm
I
thinking
watch
of the
Tubi
leaving.
almost every day.
There's
Every
there's a
fucking night.
leaving soon. I know that there's a leaving soon. But
Yeah, that they do. That
watch
they
it
tell
before
you.
it goes. Watch it before it goes.
They do
Otherwise,
that
you'll
on
never
Netflix
see this movie.
also. Yeah, you'll never see it again. It's disappearing from existence.
Yeah, you just have to buy it on VHS.
The bitch still hasn't shown a shred of hair. See, I'm telling you, there was a plot. There was a subconscious.
Do you know what it is?
plot.
She's also preparing to be Stone Cold Steve Austin in the new Steve Austin biopic.
Is that
So that's
it?
why she's that's
that
why she's
what she
wearing the
did?
headscarf. Yeah. She's growing a goatee.
See that close up of her just a second ago. That's funny. It's right when you said it. Close up on her face.
It's so funny, isn't it? Because in this 1987, the fact that she's kind of made a friend with this guy and just chatting with him.
Oh yeah, it's
in
very
the
very
bedroom.
odd.
Like now,
Yes,
it'd be
very
like, get the fuck out of my room, otherwise I'm gonna get on like some sort of watch list or
Dude, that's why
arrested
I'm
or-
afraid to even praise a child actor or actress more than a few seconds. Like that's why we started this saying she does a great job, and we move on.
Yeah,
Because otherwise,
it's
like
insane.
you said, there's some weird.
And this is the problem
always.
because it takes like it really does take a village. Like when I was a kid, I would if I got in trouble I'm an only child, so if I was a kid, I got in trouble off my mum and dad. Like it wasn't like brothers and sisters to tell me off as well. It was like, but there was neighbors. Like neighbors would do, and like if I did something, my neighbor would tell me off. And if my mum, I said to my mum, "Oh, Mrs. Fingy down the road told me off," she'd be like, "Good, you deserved it." Like she wouldn't be like, be like, "What's that woman doing talking to you?" Or "What's that man doing talking to you?" Be like,
"That's how
they didn't hit.
too.
They didn't hit you hard enough, you know."
Yep.
When I was a kid.
But I mean, the father says that in this movie. Like when he says, like, my friend Ralph, he's my friend. He's like, "Yo, what? Get over here! What are you doing with my daughter and shit?" You damn right. Like as dick of a dad he acts in this movie, I absolutely 100% agree with him. Anybody that in the middle of the night, some strange guys hanging out with my fucking little daughter, get out of here. Like you're getting a thorough interrogation, like at gunpoint.
I think that's fair enough. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Like I didn't tend to hang around my neighbors' houses at night.
Especially if you're in a strange home.
However,
strange person.
I don't know if this is a uniquely British thing or whatever, but like if your parents were going out, they would happily let you sleep over at a neighbor's house and just leave you there.
Oh yeah. Just to get away from you for a while.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's something people do now. Like whether
I don't know how they feel, but I mean, Michael Jackson had kids, sleepovers all the time and stuff, and I like his music. He doesn't seem that bad of a guy.
Well, to be fair, I don't know what ever happened to him after the Jackson 5, so I hope everything worked out for that kid.
Yeah, I know, because he never saw someone who looked like that kid again.
Yeah, so wait a minute, he did what? And what happened? And but he's all right now. He's dead.
It's like something out of a story. Like this, it's like you can't write that either. Michael Jackson's life, you can't write that. And so far we've gone through cancer, we've gone through a child acting weirdness, and talking about, and now we're on another fun topic.
Well, I was just going to say
around here in these parts.
That's
why we do this entertainment.
You get a bit of everything. The Atlanta episode, Teddy Perkins, is really good with
Yeah.
Donald Glover as the kind of Michael Jackson style character in a horror sort of way. That's a really good episode, actually. As a standalone, most of them are standalone episodes. But that's really
Yeah.
worth watching if no one's seen it. Is it
I haven't. I gotta check
Teddy
that out.
Perkins? Yeah, because he's got
Like
the full
the South
rubber
Park
plastic
episode
face.
with
Oh, yeah.
Michael Jackson is just classic.
Oh yeah,
Mr.
and the one
Jefferson, they call him.
and the R. Kelly episode as well.
Oh yeah, I mean they've made fun of everybody. It's great.
Kanye.
Yeah,
That's my favorite one, fish steaks.
I think that's a good way to explain away if you have like the type of sense of humor like that we have and a lot in this community have like dark sense of humor and stuff. You just say I've been a South Park fan most of my life and all my life, and that blankets it and like protects you from it because it's just they make fun of everybody.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that they've done, unlike a lot of stuff that's very much about the time, it does stand out as still being funny. And the only people I can think of where things don't date that way yet, even though they were talking about things of their time, are the Zucker brothers. Like I feel Parker and Stone are like the modern day Zucker brothers.
So, oh yeah, I mean what they were able to build with that show. And the wealth that they accumulated and the fact that it's still going strong. Like I don't think there's
I need to catch up on it. I need to catch up on it. I've not watched it for a while.
I've been watching it since it first premiered on Comedy
Central. I remember taping it off Channel 4 when it first was shown in the UK. And the merchandise over here was insane.
Like, they were selling bananas. That shit everywhere at like festivals, carnivals, and stuff. The Jersey Shore. So like all the prizes you can win were all South Park characters, and Kenny's with detachable Velcro heads to make it look like you can decapitate him, so you can punch the shit out of that thing if you felt angry as a kid. They had everything.
I love this candelabra in this.
I was just looking up and saw that.
It kind of makes me want to get a candelabra, but I guess then I'd have to get like a big piano to put it on.
I would want one too, just to be able to invite guests and then go up a staircase and say Ovaltine. Just to say Ovaltine. I just don't offer them Ovaltine would be great.
You could be the Phantom of the Opera style host when everyone comes in. Hey, Lamonia Demonia. Do you know? I think you've got one of the best intros on YouTube where it's like the deep voice, like Lamonia Demonia.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Lay is great. What's up, Blake?
So the girls in this are full on broad comedy, aren't they? Like the two, the two young women, I guess.
I love how he says they'll believe me I'm a grown up, and then he trips over the dolls, falls down the stairs.
This is full on like Hammer color blood as well.
Oh yeah,
this is like
very very red, very bright red.
Yeah, it's like paint,
like in Dawn of the Dead, and that's why that's one reason that movie is not a favorite in that trilogy of mine is the blood. Even Savini wasn't happy with the blood. From
it must be quite hard. Do you think it's quite hard to get blood right?
Well, I know that Savini got the blood formula from is it Dick Smith? I think it's Dick Smith. That he got the blood formula from on the way up to film Friday the 13th in 1979. And that's the blood that he's been using ever since, like throughout the 80s, and became like the standard.
So I was wondering if different people have different.
I think that was where he got the blood and started using like the blood that actually looks good, like in all the 80s slashers we have, and not the red painty like Italian blood.
Yes, well, I was going to say the different shades give you a quick indicator of what type of film you're watching, almost like Hammer, or like a Tom Savini, or like you say, what was the other one you just said? Then like a Giallo. Like there's definitely a type of blood for each of those genres, which is quite interesting. Now I know.
I always say it's weird because I don't like the blood in Dawn, even though I know Argento was heavily involved. But in Italian horror in the early 70s, that blood fits for me. Like that red painty blood, like it doesn't bother me. If anything, it adds to some movies, especially Argento's films, because of how visually stunning they are in the first place. So that just adds to it. But in Dawn of the Dead, it just doesn't work for me. It's weird. It's jarring.
That's interesting. I hadn't really.
Because then you look at Day of the Dead, and that's in '85, way after he got the right formula and shit for the blood, and that is some of the greatest practical effects, in my opinion, ever in Day of the Dead. So I look at that, and then I look at Dawn, and I'm like, oh man, imagine if Dawn had the effects of Day.
Now you say that Day of the Dead, it's one of those films where, of course, I like all of. Oh, I'm a massive George Romero fan, and I've always gone more for Dawn, and Night of the Living Dead's my favorite of the series, but obviously the color of the blood in that
Night's my second favorite.
But and I like Dawn of the Dead, but Day of the Dead, saying about the quality of the effects, because it's in a very different location. Everything kind of pops off the background really well, doesn't it? Because it's kind of
the bleak atmosphere down there.
Yeah, now you say that, I can totally appreciate it.
It's a much darker movie too. Like Dawn, and I still think Dawn's pretty much a masterpiece of a movie. I love Dawn. Yeah. It's just my least favorite in the three.
There's so many different longer, shorter versions.
The paint either. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 different cuts. I think like the longest, like 2.5 hours or something like that.
Do you want a little bit of trivia for this film while we're okay? So, actress Carrie Lorraine, who plays Judy Bauer, had only ever been in one film before, and that was Poltergeist 2. Despite being introduced in the film's opening credits, she retired from acting after this film, having no interest in pursuing it as a career, and instead is now a. Do you want to take a guess what she does for a job?
I can take a bunch of guesses, but they're gonna probably all be wrong. So just go and announce it for the world.
she's a criminal defense lawyer.
Really? I just see that would have not been on my top list of guesses at all.
No.
We would have been here for a while.
And director Stuart Gordon had a pathological fear of porcelain dolls his entire life before this.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't blame him. I feel validated with my story of growing up with my mom's creepy cousin with the creepy
yeah, you're in good company. You're in good company.
Stuart Gordon.
Do you want to guess the budget for this film, or do you already know it?
I do not know it.
Do you want to guess?
I'm terrible with guessing budgets for the most part.
$3 million trillion. No.
Yeah, exactly.
$500 million.
No, because I'm always terrible with it, because I'm always going to lowball it, because I'm always going to assume that they fucking pocketed a lot of cash. Like with any movie production, that's just how my brain works. It's like, that they didn't pay, especially when you watch a movie that has like a budget that they say what it is, but you say there's no way.
Yeah,
that was the budget for this movie. There's nothing in this movie not this movie specifically, but there's those movies that make you think, no way. Like, people were robbed. Like, in some way, people made money and pocketed it during this movie. But what was the budget for this movie?
that was a long way of saying no. I'm not guessing.
Yes. Saying a short way of saying anything? I don't think it's capable.
$2 million.
2 million. All right.
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
I can see it.
Do you know what though? About guessing is a weird thing, isn't it? I was watching. I don't know if you ever watched a comedy show called Friday Night Dinner. So a really good UK show. They've just redone it in America. And there's a guy who comes in and he's like this objectionable old guy, and he goes, "Guess how many heart attacks I've had?" And the two brothers who were just like, the first one goes, like, I don't know, and he's like, guess, and he goes, 100, and he's like, 100 heart attacks, could have 100 heart attacks, it's impossible, no one's had 100 attacks. And the other guy goes, you string bean, what's your guess? And he goes, 1. He's like, one
yeah, no matter what you pick, it's like you're screwed, because you're either over guessing, you sound stupid, or you under guessing, you sound stupid. So there's no way of winning that battle. But 2 million sounds about right with the like the stop motion animation and the effects and all of that. I mean, there's
That's
one
insane.
location. I don't know. I feel like they pocketed some of that $2 million. Get out of here. It's one location. This whole
It's a
movie.
few dolls. It's a few
Yeah,
dolls.
that's what I'm saying. There's no actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's no fucking way it took $2 million to make this movie. Are you kidding? I
Maybe
don't
they
think.
have a guy lifting up each of the thing. They didn't like moving them, and
Yeah,
then they
I
had to
don't think
like
so.
CGI the guy out.
I might believe $1 million, and like $1 million got pocketed.
Well, I've got so much trivia here. This is insane. So, the scene when Ralph bumps into the hanging lamp in Gabriel's workshop took 10 takes to get right, as Stephen
really?
Lee. Oh, so Stephen Lee is Ralph.
That's Ralph. Yeah, okay.
Kept making director Stuart Gordon laugh and ruin the take. There you go. So
I can see that. Now you see her hair and find out the cancer was a lie.
Well, I think, is she called Hilary Mason, or is Hilary Mason the old lady?
I don't know.
Right. So two of the people in this film, who I don't know who they are, remained friends until one of their deaths. So there you go. What an amazing piece of trivia.
There's two anonymous people that appear in this movie, and their fates intertwined.
They became good friends until one of them died.
Yes,
and
we can't report on who they are in the movie.
And that's and even now I can't tell from the IMDb picture because they're a lot older in the pictures.
I know, don't you hate when that happens? When you try looking up an old movie from the 70s, you try to look for an actress or something that was like maybe in her 20s, and now she's in her 60s, 70s. You're like, I don't know if this is her or not. Happens all the time.
So I'm not gonna even say the next one because it's again about somebody else who I don't know who it is. So we're going to talk about the dolls. The dolls were initially meant to have an organic structure. Sorry, were not initially meant to have. I'm messing this one up too. An organic structure. In the original script, if any doll's porcelain broke, the inside was hollow. Stuart Gordon didn't like that, so he came up with the idea of an organic skeletal system underneath. He felt that would make it creepier.
Interesting. I think it did. And the way she jumps out that window is awesome.
Yep. It was initially a very unpopular movie. It was because it was seen as tamer than his other films. So obviously they've got nothing. They're going to see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Robot Jocks. So
I know.
There's more to.
That's what I was getting at earlier with how it's not an out there movie as much as like his Lovecraft based films. So people.
And then the next film he made was
expecting it.
The next film after that was From Beyond. After this, so he was like, "All right, you want some crazy shit?"
No, From Beyond was before this, right? From Beyond was 86.
This film, but this film was.
Oh, this was filmed first.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. I always forget that.
So he was probably just sat there going, "Just wait and see."
Yeah. Just wait till I throw you this shit.
So going with what you were saying about the $2 million budget. The smoke was.
Did you get the IRS on the phone?
Well, you might have to have read this one because to get the smoke coming from the dolls, they used cigarettes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All these productions, all movies, this has been a business for a reason for a very long time. Because these movies
this is Charlie Band.
Take the fucking budget that they say they do.
The windows were pre-broken, so when Judy and when Rosemary runs to jump through the window, you can see that they're already cracked. When Judy and Ralph sneak into when Judy and Ralph sneak into Gabriel's doll workshop, Judy is standing next to Ralph, but then all of a sudden, Judy is in front of him. There you go. Not that really matters. The whispering sounds of the dolls were. Oh, okay. So Caroline Purdy Gordon's not his daughter; that's his wife. So I don't know who.
So it's not Judy the girl, right?
No,
I didn't think it was.
I don't have a clue.
It doesn't matter. It is.
This is not going on the DVD as an extra director's commentary.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like two of the people in this film became friends. But if you want to find out who they are, you've come to the wrong place.
Yes, that's the disclaimer before the start of the stream.
two of the people in this film did not like each other. Can you guess who they are? Because I'm making it up. Um, the whispering sounds of the dolls were done by a group of Stuart Gordon's friends.
You know, that's a great idea you just gave me. Possibly to do a thing like a video, right? Of like describing the plot of a movie and discussing the movie like I usually do, but making a movie most people haven't seen, and then insert stuff in there that does not happen in the movie in any
Do
way.
you know what? I
And
was thinking of
see,
doing the same thing. I had it in my list of
yeah,
notes to be like
right?
a director's commentary
And
where I
see,
make everything up.
and see who actually see this movie says, wait a minute, there's no fucking scene where this happens. What are you talking about? And see how many people actually pick up on those things. That's too funny that you thought
I'm
of
gonna
it. Like,
find my
just
notes
you
and
just
show
gave me that
you
thought.
because it's so
That's
weird. We
funny.
need to do that.
So don't trust the fucking review at from my channel from now on, I guess.
Well, mainly there's some British guys who do sometimes the commentaries for Arrow, and they're essentially, I think they just like have like one of them I think has a video shop, and like not a massive background in film. And I was thinking, what if I got to do that, but I just like I say, made up the entire thing, and I wrote it down. What did I write here? What did I call? I'm just having a look through
That's too funny.
my notes, but let's see, what did I write?
Great fucking
Because I
idea.
thought this is going to be. Just scooting through I just write down everything. If I don't write it down straight away, I completely forget. So, come on, Matty.
That's fucking great.
So yeah, I totally was thinking exactly the same thing. I think I just put made. I just think I literally think I just wrote made up director's commentary.
I mean, that would make the most sense. That's probably what I would write down too.
Yeah, and then I'll look back at it, and for a moment I'll go, "What? What are you talking about? What
Because there
nonsense?"
are, and it's brilliant because there are movies, and I've said it like even recently that like if this all sounds like ridiculous and insane, it is like that. I swear I'm not making this shit up. This is what actually is happening in this movie. I've said those words so many times. So there's definitely
what we do is
that is totally made up.
We prepare it beforehand, like we come up with some rough ideas beforehand.
Yeah.
We then record it and then drop it as live as a live
premiere or something.
As a dead on director's commentary.
Yeah.
Or
make it sound very serious, and we say everything in a very official, manner, and make it sound like it's an actual director's commentary track. That's
like he like, oh, this guy really didn't want to do this, this part of the scene.
He ended up doing it because he needed the money to help his brother who had a gambling addiction, but even though he was fucking his sister, so he hates his brother in the first place, but he doesn't want to see him die. Like, he throw at anything. So expect something like that from the two of us coming sometime soon, some project, guys.
I have got two bits of information now that actually might tie up. So Caroline Purdy Gordon plays Rosemary, and she's married to Stuart Gordon, and introducing Carrie Lorraine as Judy Bauer.
As Judy, okay. Now we know two more, though.
And Stephen Lee was so good that he was encouraged to improvise more and more as they went along.
I always thought that he improvised stuff in this because he seems very natural with this. Yeah. Like he doesn't even seem like he's acting in this movie, which is a great actor.
And another bit of info that I thought, and again, I haven't read this before, but he wanted Guy Rolfe because he was a big fan of Mr. Sardonicus.
Oh, okay. See?
So there you go.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
And enjoy
Bunty
the same
Bailey.
movies.
Bunty Bailey. This is a fascinating one. So she was a model. She's the girl in Take on Me that gets pulled into the comic strip in Aha.
Oh, in the video.
Yeah, Take on Me.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Now,
Take one.
mind you, everyone watching, he could be fucking lying, so you might want to double check that.
She
Just
also,
because the stuff we just admitted to you of plans that sound brilliant to us.
yeah, she was
I believe you.
also the body double for Grace Jones in A View to a Kill. No, I made that up. That's not
Okay, see, that's it. Which one is the truth now?
true. Yeah, guess.
Yeah,
100 people auditioned for the role of Judy. Or 100 little girls. It wasn't like Dennis Franz or anybody. Can you imagine? I'm reading for the role of Judy.
yeah. I saw you.
Yeah,
You got 5 o'clock shadow shooting through and stuff. Like, you sure?
It's like, David Caruso, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
I'm reading for the role of Judy. He takes off his sunglasses.
That was too funny.
So yeah,
I like how old the dolls look on the shelves and stuff. When he when he says, "Look at all these dollies," like a weirdo. That's why I wouldn't want this guy near my fucking daughter.
They're overwhelming. Yeah, he's like he's a bit odd. They're overwhelming. There's too many of them now. I don't like this. It's uncomfortable.
Yes, there are too many. There's an unhealthy amount.
Go and have a rest, Nanette. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'll
All right, man. Have a good rest. Yeah. And
if it wasn't for JT, I would be asleep right now. He's the only thing keeping me from falling off my chair. And this film, of course.
I'm pretty tired too, actually. I was up at all weird hours and then recorded that Mickey's Mousetrap bullshit movie.
Okay, so do you want to know where the budget went? So
yeah, right in their pockets.
The puppets were a combination of marionettes, stop motion animation, and animatronics.
Oh, really? Okay. So that still doesn't go near 2 million at all.
I like that. My daughter.
I can see it. Yeah, I know when my New York accent comes out heavily.
My daughter. It's because I was doing it because I was talking about NYPD Blue and I literally went when I gave examples.
I get excited of something and get excited while talking, or if I get mad.
Like I'm talking over here.
Fake mad, then that's when the accent really shines through.
I'm walking here.
Yeah, get the fuck out of my way. Like that's exactly how I would say that to somebody too.
100 young. Yeah, I've done that one. When we first see Mr. Punch speak, we can clearly see Judy is holding the doll and tilting him to make him look like he's talking. I don't get that. Doesn't make sense.
What? So she tilted his head in a way to make him look.
Yeah, she's like, no.
I don't know. That makes
sense. Okay, so this is another example of
like the clown doll.
A use of Dino De Laurentiis' studio. So obviously, I noticed that it was the same art design guy that did a lot of the Giallo films, but also did Terrorvision. So
yeah,
I was like, so that does make that one sounds like it's true.
And De Laurentiis is another one that was able to just get his hands into everything and distribute movies just all over the fucking world.
His financial stuff's really interesting.
I never got big into reading into it, but I'm interested for sure because he's I'd put him up there with like Kaufman and Band and stuff. Like it's just amazing businessmen. Like when it comes to the film industry, horror specifically.
So what's the difference then, JT, between a Jersey and a New York accent?
There's differences in accents just like from the next county over, like in New York. So like there's if you live here and you know the accents and you can hear it. But I guess like New York, like a heavy New York accent like mine, I guess is a stereotypical New York accent, I guess, because I'm so close to the city. But there's like so many different accents. I can tell if somebody's from upstate, like especially upstate New York. Like people
when I think of
different.
New Jersey, I think of like The Sopranos and Copland.
Okay.
But then, like a lot of the people in Copland are from all over the place. So even though they're supposed to be from New Jersey, aren't they? It's like You've got Stallone, you've got De Niro, you've got Michael Rappaport, you've got a range of people.
Michael Rappaport I used to like him, and he went fucking nuts. Like at some point, I've seen interviews and posts of his and stuff. He sounds like a lunatic.
I think once you hit a certain age and you've had a small amount of success, you seem to just go loopy. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. What's going on in the world? What's going on? I'm from Northeast and this and the so it's similar. Okay. Some are exaggerated. Yeah. Like me doing that. Like, I'm walking here.
Yeah, like that.
Forget about it.
That sounded like Christopher Walken, actually. Not just because you said Walken, but it sounded
I'm
like
Christopher Walken here.
Reminds me of Victor Crowley, the fourth Hatchet movie, with like Dylan, David Sheridan is giving the impressions.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, guess this one. Hi, I'm Christopher Walken. I'm so stopping that one, but he says guess it, and it goes on to just say the name. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's good. He's the guy that's doofy, isn't he? He's doofy.
Yes, he is also Doofy from a Scary Movie.
Yes, that's the award-winning Officer Doofy that he won Best Actor at the Oscars for, if I remember correctly.
He absolutely did. 2 years in a row for the same film.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's never happened before or since.
Yeah, they do. I mean, to be fair, it's like Godfather 1 and 2. People go back and forth. Scary Movie 1, Scary Movie 2 was the greatest film of all time.
I mean, they are so much fun, the first two.
I mean, for me, it was the beginning of a decline of parody movies where you just had people dress up as people, and that was the joke.
Yeah,
and then you were like, well.
When you get into like disaster movie and like all that stuff, like that's hard.
The last really good one was Not Another Teen Movie.
I was just gonna say that. I was waiting for you to finish so I could say that. That was exactly the movie.
That's a good one. And the guy who did that, he did all the really fun sketches that used to be on before the MTV Movie Awards in the early 2000s. Joel Gallen.
I didn't
so
know
he had a good track record for like kind of. His films are the closest to like Zucker Brothers, other than maybe Wet Hot American Summer, which I suppose is more of a making fun of Friday the 13th. And then they did one called They Came Together, which was like a rom-com spoof, which was David Wayne who did that. That's Paul Rudd again, and that's quite funny, but it's not as good as Wet Hot American Summer. That's like
that's
top quality. I love
movie.
that. So here another bit of info that the film, like a lot of Charles Bond films, came from a poster image of a doll holding its own eyeballs, and producer Charles Band sent this movie to writer Ed Naha, and so basically you've got total creative freedom, but producer Brian Yuzna insisted that the poster had to correlate to a scene in the film. It couldn't just look like nothing in the film.
I mean, that makes sense. And
I love the fact they had to say that. They have to stop Charles Band from just like saying, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't even have to look like the poster.
Yeah. Brian Yuzna had to be the voice of reason.
Yeah, that's quite funny.
And he's done that quite a few times. And even with Gordon himself, like for Castle Freak, he walked into Band's office and Band said, there's a poster already, and it said Castle Freak inside. He just said, you want to make this movie? Well, you can do whatever you want. It just has to be a castle and there has to be a freak. And he said, all right. And that was how that movie got started. He's done that a few times, Charlie.
So funny. So we were right about Madonna. However, no Cyndi Lauper influence. The fashions worn by Enid and Isabel were both inspired by Madonna. Or Madonna.
Shocking news who was coming in now.
They even wear the same boy toy belt that she wore in the song Boy. She must have done a song. No, did she do a song called Boy Toy? I don't know. But she wears the same. They wear the same belt that she wears. So
interesting.
Fashion.
Interesting, but not shocking.
No. What else?
I love how like Mr. Punch a little bit ago had the drill and stuff, and he's drilling into the guy, the father, and attacking him. All the effects look really really good in this movie,
I,
and
I
it
I
makes
love
sense
the
for
fact that
John Paul Beekler. He always does good.
you're like they're kind of convincing him that it was all just just a
Yeah, no, it was just
crazy
a
dream.
crazy nightmare. Just a
Yeah.
dream, and because they've said a few times in this and refer to it as the longest night ever.
And apparently you can see the puppeteer's hands quite a lot in relation to Mr. Punch.
I'm sure you can.
But I didn't. I don't care about stuff like that.
I don't really. I haven't seen it though. Like in all my
No, so it
watches of
doesn't
this
bother
film,
me. Yeah.
I've never seen and noticed it, and I look for shit like that. So I've never noticed it.
No, I think it's done really well in this.
Oh yeah, all the effects I think hold up extremely well in
He's
this
good in
movie.
this guy Rolfe as well because he's not just like I'm creepy and he's like got
Yeah,
a bit
he
of
has a
light
little.
and shade to him, and he dyed
Yeah,
his
he's
hair
got a bit of.
completely white. He actually had
Oh, did
dark
he?
hair. Yeah.
He's got a bit of heart to him. Same with her, and so and it makes sense with the story and the whole thing that Ralph is childlike, and says that he's childlike at heart, and that's why he survives this long ass night.
Well,
And
if
with
this
Judy,
was
because those are the two innocent ones.
exactly, and if you were making this film now under the full moon banner, or if Charles Band was getting his group of people together to make this now, there wouldn't be this subtlety, would there? There'd be like
Yeah, no.
the puppet guy would just be like a hideous half pumpkin, half gingerbread man.
Yeah, exactly. Like just something off the walls and insane. But most importantly, you wouldn't have Stuart Gordon
No, and that's the
directing,
and,
and
and
anyway,
that's
which
why
is a huge thing with this movie, and why I love it so much. And it's so good. It's because of his directing.
yeah, and that's why oh, what's it called? Flesh. Oh,
Skin, meat,
what's something flesh? The Dennis Pioli written Heather Graham, Barbara Crampton. I could tell you everything about the film except the
suitable
name.
flesh,
Suitable flesh. Thank you. Suitable was the word. That was the word I
Yes,
was looking for. You win
the
the
flesh
prize.
is suitable to
Flesh is
wear,
suitable in
I
that.
guess.
That film
That was a
suffers
good
from
movie.
lack of Stuart Gordon
It
for
does,
me.
but I enjoyed it.
Everything else is great. Everything else is fantastic.
If
The
you
only
had,
problem
yeah, if you had Gordon, yeah.
the only problem was when I did my review, and that's what I said. The only person who read it was the director.
Yeah.
So he wasn't very
I
happy. He
love
wasn't very.
I love Joe Lynch. I've talked to him on Twitter a few times, trying to get him on.
I don't
We've
think
had some
he'll
like
want to
weird
talk to me.
conversations and random
He didn't.
combos and stuff, but he's a good guy. Yeah, he's a good director. He did Wrong Turn too. Also,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
my
I
favorite in
don't
the
think
series.
he's a bad director. I just said that it was a little
No, yeah,
like
no, I agree.
pedestrian compared to Stuart Gordon,
Oh, I
and
agree. If we had Gordon
I
making
wasn't
that
trying to
same
be
movie,
mean or anything like that. But
I'm sure he knows that.
he put like what was he put? Well, my mom liked it or something like that, and I was a bit like, I mean, people tell me the stuff I do is shit all the time, so like it's.
Yeah, I mean, we all get it. If you
I
create
didn't, and I
something,
didn't even say
if
I
you
did
create
5 things.
anything, you're gonna get fucking hate in
Yeah.
some way.
Well, the video was I was trying out a new thing. I was doing 5 positives and then 5 areas that I wasn't a fan of. And to be
Okay.
honest, the only thing was that I think what Stuart Gordon does very well is because of his background in the theatre, he uses space and small spaces really well.
Mhm. He does.
And that's maybe what was missing in Suitable Flesh. It felt a little bit unfocused because it didn't have that clarity of somebody who knows what they're doing when it comes to directing small spaces and
Yeah.
it just didn't
I know
quite
what
work for
you
me.
mean. It's exactly what I say all the time about Full Moon and Charlie Band and stuff, and how they film like in the same type of style almost.
Yeah. And they miss people. I mean, it's not like Roger Corman where you work for him once, you do an amazing job, and you'll never have to. He used to say, like, you'll never work for me again if you do a good job because somebody will. It's like a film school, and you move on, and you're like Joe Dante or
Yeah.
James Cameron, and you'll go off and you'll be a star. Whereas
Yeah.
with Charles Band, sometimes
You
there's
would keep
people
them.
who he could reuse them more than he does. Like Ted Nicolaus ended up being like subspecies guy. and
Yeah.
that means that we've missed out in a lot of ways of him doing, because I think he's probably one of the best full moon
Oh yeah,
directors, if not the best. Like
absolutely.
there's him and Stuart Gordon, but then like someone like David Dakota, I
Yeah,
like
so
some of his
cool.
stuff, but he does
Some
like
stuff is insanely like not
yeah,
done
some of
to
it it's like
perfection.
he's looking into the wrong end of the camera or something. Like it doesn't.
Yeah,
It's
I would
terrible.
definitely say Ted is probably definitely
He's
top
really
3,
great.
if not
Yeah,
like 2 behind
yeah,
Gordon.
yeah. Stuart Gordon. It would. I mean, obviously, he did get to do some bigger stuff, but um, it's just such a shame. It's just such a shame that we don't have him to make films now.
Yeah, no, because I definitely I enjoyed Suitable Flesh, but I had my gripes with it also.
Yeah,
That might
if he
make
made
it.
that would have been
Yeah, for
incredible.
sure. If he made that
And I
movie,
did say it's a bit unfair for me to even say that because obviously I'm saying the only thing I would change is something that's impossible.
yeah, no, exactly. But I get
Yeah.
it though.
So here we are, the
Mr. Punch.
Hartwicks.
This is her. She gets to take her dad with her. She just doesn't realize it.
Yeah. Some reused music in this as well, but I'm not sure what it's from. I skipped over that.
It would probably, if I was that father shrunk to Mr. Punch, I then had to go with my daughter, like as a doll with this creepy dude. I would still be more pissed about this weirdo with my daughter than the fact that I was turned into a fucking doll and that I have to live out the rest of my life as a magical doll that I don't even know my
You'd
capabilities
be
without.
like, how do I eat? Do I ever
Yeah.
die? Like, am
Yeah.
I doomed to live like this forever?
What
Like,
are the rules? What are the
will I
dolls
outlive?
rules?
Will I outlive my daughter? Will I? Can I be hurt? Like, what?
Yeah, you got to weigh the pros and cons of being a
How
doll.
do I go to the bathroom?
I don't know if that's an issue for them, but they do. I mean, the only doll movie that I can think of that mentions anything like that is Bride of Chucky and Seed of
Mm.
Chucky, but Bride of Chucky when they fuck. Tiffany and Chucky, the dolls, and then they say like, "Oh, well, I'm all made of rubber," and he has a dick apparently, and they had a kid. They had
I
2
mean,
kids.
I'm
They had
not
his
interested
sister.
in that at all. But can you tell me the exact time code for that part of the film?
I think it's around like the 45-minute mark, maybe like an hour or so. I forget. It's a lot. I have a website.
Hang on a minute. Let me write this down.
Yeah, get it ready. The way they shift their heads and shit, these dolls, that's pretty creepy too. And then I love the ending of this movie that you see the exact same stuff happen to
Yeah,
somebody else. Their
time loop.
car gets stuck, the tire gets stuck in the ground. They have to, oh, there's a house nearby. And then, the same shit. They're going to have another longest night ever, I guess. So I guess that
And
wasn't the
endings.
longest night ever that they just went through because then this would have to be the longest night ever. Then the next one would be the longest night after that. So they keep beating themselves out, I guess.
It's like Happy Death Day or something.
Yeah, like some type of weird time loop of
So do you
weird.
think this is just a case of it when he was writing this, the guy was like, endings are hard.
Probably. I mean, it could have been. I mean, it is very like juvenile writing, I guess, for the end. Let's just make it the same
I
exact
mean, when I used to
thing as
write
the
with little
beginning and
kids,
repeat the
it
cycle.
it
Yeah,
always end with like, and then they all went and had a party.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Or I always joke and shit in videos sometimes. I'll say all is well in Tinseltown, and like, that's
yeah.
the end of the story. It's a neat bow and everything's good. It's just he could have thought of something better than the
So
ending
that
to that.
original poster where they're holding their eyes and they're both like that, the puppets like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm looking right at it.
the first time that I saw that, I didn't spot the eyes. I just
I
thought
didn't
that
either.
the poster was just like woo, like
Yeah.
yeah.
No, the same way. I didn't see the eyes either the first time, for sure. Maybe even like for longer after that. And then there's a few movies called Dolls. And I'm looking at 4 on Tubi right now. But there's
It's
another
mad.
one called Dolls, and I've seen this movie. And it has a very similar cover. It's a female doll, but she's in an attic. That's what I was thinking of earlier when we were talking about the poster for this movie. It's this movie. It's not good at all. but it was entertaining when I saw it a few years ago. Like,
I mean, that's it. Sometimes they don't. You like you say, they don't have to be great. They just have to be entertaining. They just have to keep your attention. And
there's like 3 dolls that are like very distinct from each other, and this guy's like a writer or some shit. He's a kid's writer. I got the plot actually right here, so why am I paraphrasing? And he has his daughter, and they have a house, and they find the dolls in the attic, and then the dolls they're like cursed or something, and shit happens. That type of generic story, but in a fun bad way.
Occasionally, though, do you not find that something like that can?
Oh, and actually, Dee Wallace is in this movie in some capacity.
Okay.
I can't even remember that she was in it, so it's probably not a big role.
Because sometimes, like your most basic plot and story and things that you think are going to be a bit, oh, this is going to be so boring. They're acted and performed so well that the charisma of the person in the film drives it. Like I always think, like the remake of Walking Tall. I went to see that at the cinema, and I was entertained. Like The Rock and Johnny Knoxville were funny in that. The blonde-haired dude whose name escapes me, he was a good baddie. So like all the components were good. But like I tried watching a film like that the other night to see if I could find something similar, and it was on Tubi, and it was Lorenzo Lamas as a bad guy. It was his sidekick was Quentin Rampage Jackson, and and then there was this kid who was like getting revenge. And honestly, I was 20 minutes in of him driving around, and I was like, "Nah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm absolutely done."
There's definitely movies that could follow every beat in the book that we've seen before, but if it's acted and filmed extremely, extremely well, and then it still could be a great entertaining movie. But then on the other side of that too, you can have movies that are completely original in their premise and something completely out there, and just be pulled off and executed terribly in every single way too.
Yeah, and you think all the features were there, all
the missed potential and stuff.
Yeah, and often that can be as well these days. It can just be that the film is really long, and the issue can be editing, and like there's just it's hard to keep your attention. And I'll say it just in case she's just listening and not watching. Hi, Mayan. Hi, nice to see you. Because I was waving, and then I thought she probably, if she's listening, that might not make any difference.
Hey, May. Hey, Lay. We got May and Lay.
Because I know that sometimes people have just got us on in the background, because they find it hard to sleep, so they're just like listening to us, and
I do that shit all the time.
It knocks them out straight away.
That's the fun thing about like streams and just movie discussions and reviews, is that if you're awake and conscious enough and you're interested, then it's interesting and fun. But if you're tired and you need something to put you out, like nothing like somebody rambling on about shit.
Well, you've come to the right place.
You out,
you've come to the right place.
Like,
if you want two guys
to Andean. Like nothing more is better than just tune into us.
This is it, JT. Listen, if you want someone to talk you into bed and make you fall asleep, we're the guys.
That's right. Absolutely. And we got dolls. We just watch dolls. We love dolls. We're dolls.
Last time I watched this film, I gave this 3 out of 5 stars, but with a little heart next to it.
That would be an appropriate response.
Yeah.
I'm looking at now because I see Island of the Dolls 2, which I said earlier. You made me throw on this movie, Island of the Dolls, because I was in a dolly mood, I guess. And that's the perfect example of a movie that had like so much potential with the setting, even though it's not set on the actual Island of the Dolls. It makes no effort to make it look like an island or anything. It just seems like the woods, and they strung some dolls up and shit. But that movie had a lot of potential with that premise, and just going to the Island of the Dolls and having these supernatural aspects, and just what.
Well, I was going to ask you, does this cross over with wax doll films? Like wax works, so they're not really a crossover with those.
No, this is just something completely different. Island of the Dolls, and then there's a sequel that I'm.
I just mean in general. Like I just mean like this genre. this idea, like the doll films in general, all the kind of puppets.
Oh yeah,
and stuff,
maybe.
it's kind of moving on from things that are just completely still, and then
Like I mean,
we
like
start.
waxwork is a great fun one on that side of it. Like
What's
things that
the
aren't
one with
dolls, but they're turned into wax people, just like Wax Museum, and what the hell's the name of the remake? House of
what's the
Wax.
one with is that one with Hal Holbrook or somebody in it?
That's the original, I think, right?
Yeah,
Horror
I
at the
think
Wax
so.
Museum or something like that. I
Yeah,
forget the
and then
title.
you've got anything at the time that there's something with something inside it. I always think of
A
Dick
pregnant
Miller.
chick. No.
What's the Dick Miller
Cha-ching!
film? Bucket of Blood.
Bucket of Blood. Okay.
Yeah, because like
I haven't seen that in forever. I've
that
seen it.
it's just that freaks me out about that is that obviously everyone's like, oh, these are so realistic. These statues you're making are so realistic, and it's like they're frozen in the position that he killed them in, and then he just puts like plaster of Paris over them and makes them into a statue.
It's so funny. I was watching Joe Rogan's new stand-up special. It was like streamed live on Netflix like a few days ago. So I was watching it the other night, and so funny. He starts talking about the bodies exhibit. You know, the bodies exhibit where they have like the actual human bodies on display, like doing
I think
like
so.
random
Is it
things.
a Dutch guy that does it?
I'm not sure who runs it, but it's been around for like at least a decade, if not more. Like I remember when
because I think they had them in
ago.
the UK for a while. Yeah,
they use like Chinese political prisoners for the bodies, and like he goes on this whole hilarious fucking bit on the bodies exhibit. So funny. I was dying laughing. So hard, actually. That's when I hit the call in the Instagram chat and called everybody.
You're laughing too much.
Probably laughing at that fucking joke. And I said, "Oh, let's tap a button that I don't know what it does."
Oh my days. Well, I know I'm not much of like a butt dialer kind of person, but I when people do that to me, I always freak out because I'm so unused. The only people that tend to call me up are like people trying to scam me, you know?
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, who's this? Why are they ringing me?
Yeah. Oh, if I see a number I don't know, I ignore the shit out of that immediately. If it's important, they'll leave a voice message. And if it's not important and they do, you delete that.
You scared Larry? I hope you're proud of yourself.
Bad, Larry. Yeah, I know I'm not. That was not my finest hour.
Well, guys,
I saw a ringing thing. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I'm looking down at the phone, and I'm trying to hang up, and it's not working. And then I thought because I had Instagram open on my laptop, and I shut that, and then it worked, but like it was taking way too long. So apologies.
Well, I have got something that I did that related to technology that was ridiculous, but I'll have to tell you off air because
okay
because yeah, it was insane. But like imagine, you know, like in those movies where the hero has to shut down the electric and they pull one lever and all the lights go out in the thing. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
I'm very interested. Sorry you guys don't get to hear
it. Yeah, just message.
He might not want to incriminate himself if there's criminal charges that could be linked. So respect that. Respect.
No,
that.
it's just
I got
just
stories too.
It's just so stupid. Too stupid to share in public.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, that's true, man. You can get some strange scammers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You can message me later on, Mayan, and I'll tell you.
Exclusive access.
Yeah. Just only for on my Patreon.
Yeah, right. It's exclusive. You get to hear this ridiculous story just for whatever amount it is.
Anything embarrassing, all my embarrassing stuff is only on the Patreon. Yes. Hey, Tony did a really cool stream with Gareth earlier on, doing all about kids TV shows from the 80s in the UK. So nice. Your face would have been like this.
Garrett's so funny. Garrett's always coming out with great ideas. I guess.
Well, Wigan.
That's funny.
All right, guys. Quickly,
Yes,
just time
you.
to say thank you to everyone. Yeah, I know you got to do it behind a paywall, Ammonia, otherwise it's. So
yeah,
big
that's
thank you
how I
to
feel. Like I embarrass the shit of myself all the time. This guy's gaining it behind his fucking Patreon.
Unagi.
You can learn from this man.
So big thank you to Mayan, Lamonia, Tony from Wigan Cult Film Club.
Yes,
Subscribe to all these channels if you're a first-time viewer, first-time watcher. The Horror Cat Dad, of course. Mayan, JT's Horror Discussions.
Files,
I've heard of him.
Liv,
yeah.
Let's hope Liv feels better. Liv is sick.
Mr. Dan and Horror. Nanette's Blood Rose Horror Nightmare. Texas Hardcore. 1965. The Horror Cat Dad I've already said. Nanette I've already said, I think. You said Shamala Scott. Who else have I missed? Missed somebody, surely. Have we said Bud Files? You said Bud Files.
That's why thank you, everybody. It was invented because that shit blankets everything and leaves no room for error.
All right. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll thank everyone by finishing this in a way only I can finish this because I created this. I made this. Remember that. I made this.
Indeed, he did.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Take care, guys. Have a great night.
Peace.